Alright guys, so you're always asking for videos to talk a little bit about the business aspect of welding, and so I wanted to share a couple things with you guys. First off, some of my favorite types of customers to work with are equipment operators. Not necessarily just the companies who, own the dozers or the excavators or whatever. They're really nice as well, but for different reasons. What I like about them is they're not cheap, they're not generally lowballers or whatever. In the case of this machine I'm driving out to fix right now, the company that owns it, they build this thing out at $4,000 per day. So, they're not going to try to screw with me over, $100 on the bill or whatever, because they don't really care about that. All they care about is getting their machine back up and running so they can go back to taking in $4,000 a day for it. Now, what's really cool is the actual equipment operators themselves, the guys who get paid to sit in the cab and run this thing. This might sound bad and I don't mean it that way, but when they're in a machine and the machine breaks, it's kind of like a little mini paid vacation for them. What I mean by that is the guy who's running this machine, I know him, I've worked with him before. He's like, 7 or 8 hours away from home out here, and his job is to run this thing for 12-hour shifts from 2 in the morning to 2 p.m. So, definitely not lazy or whatever. And he takes it pretty seriously and he's good at what he does. But the point is, when it's 5 a.m. and he's cruising along and there's a loud banging and the machine won't go anymore, there's just not really that much that he can do about that. And even more so, this I'm expecting, since we're, a good couple hours into this trip and still a decent ways from this machine, I'm expecting this repair is going to take longer in drive time than it is in actual, they're repairing it time. But in other cases where the machine's going to be down for days, or where, I don't really do much mechanical stuff, pretty much exclusively just welding, but, if it's a mechanical type repair as opposed to a welding type repair and parts aren't going to be in for 3-4 days or whatever, these guys are stuck in some, far off city. They're getting paid to be there. They're in a hotel that's paid for. They're probably getting some type of allowance for meals and whatever else. So, according to the guys I've talked to, in situations like that, they pretty much just sleep in and watch pay-per-view movies at the hotel. So, my point is, when, you get to work with these people, they're always really chill. This guy's probably, let's see, 12-hour shift, which ends in about an hour and 45 minutes or something. So, he's going to get paid for that, and I'm going to be there way past that. He's probably going to be there with the machine as well to, fire it up and move it or move parts of it or, watch over it or whatever. I don't know what kind of area this is in. So he's there, getting paid, overtime with this. After the machine broke at 5, he's probably gotten 7-8 hours of sleep already that he's getting paid for. So you can see they're pretty chill. They're pretty nice to work with. Now, the other thing is sometimes, most of the time, they're pretty helpful. It's not that they don't care about the machine or they don't want it to be fixed. So occasionally you can capitalize on sending them to go and pick up supplies. Some companies, it seems like they pretty much just pay people, the set amount per day of whatever trip they're on, period. Others, the operators want to help you so that it's easier for them to justify why they were on the clock for 20 hours straight and the machine was only working for 3 hours. I'm going up a hill right now and there is a semi-truck that's going 2 miles an hour up this hill. So now this is in slightly different contrast, having someone in a good mood and, you can give them 20 bucks and tell them to come back with a sandwich or something for lunch for you. This is in stark contrast to people who actually own the equipment themselves, like an owner-operator or perhaps a farmer or something along those lines. These folks, that maybe not $4,000 a day. I don't know what most farm equipment brings in when it's actually running in harvest time, but whatever the case, that money is coming out of their pocket. So they're going to be, the tension with them is going to be a lot higher. They're going to be a lot more stressed out, a lot more strung out because, well, like I said, they're not getting essentially a little paid mini break. This is really hurting them financially. But with the operators rather, where I'm going, it's not really the case. And so just for the aforementioned reason, I really like working with these types of folks whenever I have the opportunity to. The downside to jobs like this where the only person out there, you know, he really just works for the company, he's not like management or in accounting or, you know, in charge of it or whatever, you pretty much always, you can never really expect like a check at the end of the day like this, like perhaps you could if it was an owner operator or whatever. So with this, I'm not at all worried about it because I've worked with this company before, and I'm not really worried about, you know, having any issues. But if this was a new customer, you know, if you're in a state where it's legal, that's probably a pretty good time to consider recording your phone calls with them and telling them, you know, you're going to charge this much to be out there and this much to get there and everything else. Now, speaking of which, just another couple little tidbits sometimes people ask about. The way I charge folks to get out to wherever they are is if it's in my immediate area, like my town or the next town over, if it's a worthwhile job, like an all-day thing or something, I probably won't charge them anything, especially if it's like right around the corner, you know, and or there's a decent chance of like repeat business coming out of it. Beyond that, anywhere in the Metroplex, the Dallas-Fort Worth area where I live, I charge just a preset amount of money for, like I said, pretty much anywhere. And if it's on the opposite corner of the Metroplex, like 2+ hours away, you know, or, you know, anywhere outside the Metroplex, I just charge a flat $2.50 a mile each way. And, you know, it just makes it easy. It's easy to remember, it's easy to quote, and, yeah, so for whatever it's worth, there's just some of my daily ramblings for you guys. Yeah, I hope I get out at this place relatively quickly. I'd just like to thank you all for watching. Don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe for more. And random video, but I hope you guys liked it.